David, obviously a big part of the Von Erich story, especially Kerry's story, is the accident, and he loses the foot. And of course, I know timeline wise that wasn't accurate, but the big reveal in the movie that Kerry has lost his foot. At this point, is he working with both of his feet, or has he lost the foot by this point?
Uh, this was 85. No, no, I don't think he's lost it yet.
I don't think so either, because it felt like there was always a sleeve on that one side.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't think he's lost it yet.
of course, these days it's impossible to keep a secret in wrestling. You know, it's very rare when there's a real surprise in wrestling, like it feels like everything comes out. But that was one of those where it was largely a secret in the wrestling industry. But I assume that most of the performers had to know, right?
No.
Wow.
This is crazy. See, what a lot of people don't know is when Kerry, and this is when I'm booking. How fair is this? I become the booker, and Ken left, went up to work for Bill Watts, and so literally I'm the booker for like 2 weeks, and I get the phone call. Fritz calls and says, "You got to do something. Kerry won't be there tonight. He was just in a motorcycle wreck. I don't know the details, but I'll let you know." I said, "Okay." So I'm having to shift everything. And then I got a hold of Rick Hazard, and Rick had been to the hospital, and he said, "Dave, you're not going to believe it." He said, "Man, it looks like an alligator chewed on his leg for about an hour." And so they came in, and obviously they didn't want to take the leg. So they did surgery for about, gosh, I want to say 10 hours. And he came out of the hospital with his leg. And they were saying the leg was not getting blood circulation like it should. And they didn't know if it was going to, be sturdy enough. But anyway, he came out, and at the sportatorium, you had to go up these stairs and go up top. And that's where we would watch the matches, in this cage. And Kerry was up there, and it was time for his match. And he come running down the stairs, and they got about halfway down and hit, and that leg snapped. And so we had to take him back to the hospital. They took him back to the hospital. And at that time, I didn't even know they had taken the leg until Fritz confided in me. And he said they made all of the doctors sign a form, and anyone that was in that operating room, that basically they'd get sued if they told anyone he lost the leg. And so, and I have to say, I was against that. I was for telling people he lost the leg, because I thought, man, it would be for people out there, that need a prosthesis or whatever. I thought it would be a great story. Right. And how much heat's he going to get now when someone starts banging on the leg, So I thought that's one of the decisions that I think we should have told it.
Okay, man, speaking of telling, they're telling a story here. All the fans are on their feet.
My God.
Let's track just a minute over.
His face to clear that powder, and is wiping his eyes. Lance Von Erich over the corner, wiping Kerry's eyes out. And there's some more powder, and that got it. Chris Adams here. 1, 2, 3. Kerry Von Erich pins Chris Adams. Kerry Von Erich pins Chris Adams.
Can we have the members of the radio media to ringside, please?
Dino tries to escape right here above us.
The members of the radio media to ringside,
Dino
please.
trying to get out of here. Lance Von Erich.
How about that? All the lumberjacks, Lance Von Erich, making sure he's got a hold of Gino. You're not going anywhere. You're getting a haircut. And how about multiple calls for the media? Come on down to ringside. I love it.
We had one of the top radio stations was there for this event, and we were getting a lot of free publicity from them. So we allowed them to actually be at the ring when the hair took place.
There was one kid that pushed Gino, and security. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Put a headlock on him.
Yeah. And what happens here is also you'll see who was it jumped out of the ring, and Chris Von Erich tackled him.
Oh.
So everybody kind of got in on this.
Yeah.
It was super fun to see as they were teasing the match. It said up next, the main event, MANE. And then they positioned it for a commercial and said, when we come back, the hair cutting.
Yeah.
It's super silly, super fun, but man, you guys were doing unbelievable ratings. What kind of ratings do you remember World Class getting at its height, David?
We were pulling anywhere from 15 to 17.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
We were pulling 3 points higher than Vince was in New York.
It's unbelievable to think about, what was happening here. And, this was just one of the many territories. This is without full-blown national television. I know ESPN became a thing for you guys, but at this point, this is still all just syndicated. Am I right?
Yeah, we would send out 40, either 45 or 46 tapes every Tuesday morning.
Let's track a little bit here.
Chris Adams, the first man to lose his hair.
Fans are still going just bananas here.
And now the electric scissors, administered by Kerry Von Erich. And there goes the handsome young man from England's hair, Chris Adams, going ball right here in the ring on the floor of the Cotton Bowl.
So who all is in the ring right now that we can see, David, that you recognize? We got a referee. We got
There's Iceman King Parsons.
right.
That's Bronco Lubridge to the right. I know Scott Casey was in the ring.
Yeah.
And they had Iceman. They all, the people got to see, they all got to get up and take scissors and take a piece of hair, because all of them at some point over the last 2 or 3 months, either Gino or Chris had taken some of their hair. And you see that's Rick Hazard in the middle there. And you hear Chris Adams telling each one of us he's going to kill us. So, but Chris learned the hard way. Be still, because those clippers, when you don't have any kind of protection on them, it's just the bear steel. It can cut you and it hurts.
Right.
And he fought it and fought it and fought it. And it was crazy. You'll see Gino when he gets in. He saw what was going on, and I whispered to him when he got in. I said, "I advise you, I'd be still, or your head's going to get cut." So even though he screamed and yelled, he kept his head perfectly still.
Yeah, I noticed. I saw Brian Adias in there as well.
Yep, Brian Adias,
because Adias was with us as Jim Crockett for a little bit.
That's one of the other guys that lived it, because he and Kerry, grew up together all the way from first grade. They were best friends.
We know, of course, that Kerry got his shot to be the NWA World Champion, David. But of the other Von Erich boys, did you think there was another that was probably a shoe-in to be on a short list for that? Oh, there you see. Chris Von Erich getting in on the action, tackling Gino on the escape. That's super fun.
That was good.
Yeah, we, originally they were going to put the belt on Dave, and they hesitated putting the belt on Kerry, and Fritz just put his foot down, because with everything we had going on, we needed one of the boys to win, and Kerry was over the biggest at that point. I think Dave would have had a longer run with the belt, because Dave could work heel really good.
Okay.
And when he was up in Florida, he worked heel up there. And if you go back and look at some of his interviews, he was great. And so he was up there. And I think, as you know, it's hard to draw with a baby face. You don't draw near as good, and there's not near as much excitement in the local towns if the world champion is a baby face.
Yes.
And because you want to pull him for their hero.